Alright guys, what up? It's your boy Wolfman here, and today we're going to watch Rissa play some Blaster with her good friend Taft here. Now, I was watching her stream, and one of the things I ended up talking to her about is analyzing her gameplay, and so that's what I'm going to do today. Partly because I'm bored and I can't play Splatoon, but I still want to do something with Splatoon, so here we are. Alright, so I like this game because how it turns out, you'll see. But first and foremost, before we go in, it's splat zones, right? So our goal is to defend the zone and take the zone, obviously, and we're going to try to do that and make it as difficult as possible for our opponents. That's the goal in general. But yeah, this isn't exactly super bad players or anything. This is, 2000 League Power Plus, which is pretty good. So let's move on and get to the hot gameplay, So here, we got the start. So let's see her opening. Let's see how it goes. It's kind of hard to mess this part up because no one has control of anything. So just as long as she doesn't do anything really dumb, she's fine. Alright, so Pausarino. First of all, first thing we should have noticed, honestly, before we even came out, there's two heavy splatlings. Even though she's using a range blaster, heavy splatlings do outrange her range blaster, and this one in particular, even though it's not the deco, so it has Stingray, so there's that to watch out for as well, because that Stingray will definitely beam her and her team to death. It has the longest range in the game, so that's always something to keep an eye out for. So there's that. So there's two opponents that she needs to look out for. The rest she can potentially fight. Definitely the mid range here. This one's gonna be her main target. This one not so much, but definitely these two are the ones that she needs to be aware of. Now first off, she's already kind of caught out of position here. This guy is a 10 attack. But fortunately she has some protection. This guy is at the disadvantage. He might potentially trade, but it doesn't really gain them anything because it's a net 0. So it's not a plus, it's not bad, it's just nothing. So even if he trades, that's the best case scenario for him. So let's see how this works. She's low on ink, and I would imagine he's going to be low too for being this pushed up and having painted the zone a bit.
Ah, juicy.
Alright. So he doesn't continue to chase. We've got the heavy who pushed up to help support. So now it's a 2v1. She should be looking to be popping the blaster shots here as soon as she gets some ink. And then he should honestly, since he's the roller, he could honestly just start flicking in this direction. This guy needs to go big and get a pick off him because he's the closest threat to his team, and obviously in a 2v1 scenario this guy's gonna lose. So let's see, he ran out. He should be kind of low too because he already did 2 full charges. He did one earlier and then he did one now. So she does get a pick here, and so now this guy is kind of forced to back off. So she could be aggressive if she wanted. She could go up here, doesn't really matter. I'm greedy. I would personally start to attack this person with the blaster shots because he can't hide from behind here. And also if you look up, your team's already doing well, so even if you trade, no biggie because your entire team's up, and in this case a trade would be totally fine because chances of a heavy wiping this entire team not very high because you also have a heavy. So Alright, so as expected, he backs up. He can't fight this in this scenario. So now he's going to look to paint the zone. Of course, our team's gonna start painting the zone. That's a heavy up there. There's the Stingray just beaming people up top, so she's nothing to fear down here. If she wanted, she could aggress on him, but she chose to not do so, which is fine. As long as you're not dying and you're still doing objective, you're doing great. So this is great, fantastic. We haven't died. We got control of the zone. She checked. There's no one here. Potentially someone could have been here or something, but usually not the case. They would put some ink. They need to be able to move. And if there was someone there, that would be really bad, because she could just pop them with blaster shots, and with no ink to move around in, she'd have the advantage. So it's all good. Alright, so we're popping here. So we know that one of the heavies is up there. We know that her team is up here pushing. Now, if I were her, I would go and try to support the teammate as best I could without dying. Being back here, you're not really accomplishing anything because the zone's already painted and there's no one attacking the zone, so you're not doing anything. No one's over here on the left, so again, you're still not doing anything. You always want to make sure in Splatoon you're doing something. You should be either holding them back in their spawn, helping your team, something. In this case, you can help your teammate here. You also got a beam here, so you would be triple teaming whoever's over here. So let's see what she decides to do. And see, this is another reason, because like you've got a guy whose jump is right here, so that's potential death for that poor guy. Okay, right here, we notice someone's coming through the right. I don't know how they got there, but they're coming through the right. So they're right behind this block here. Now she could start to try to pop blaster shots across this, because she has the advantage, because they can't shoot past the block. They would have to pick a side. And she has the ink. She can pick to go this way as her escape route, or just back. Back would probably be her safest bet. But more importantly, she would want to defend this block point. So more than likely, this guy is going to be watching this jump, like 90% of the time. If they see it, like this is like bait. So if I were her, I'd look to try to use this as bait to kill this guy. So let's see what they do. All right. So he backs off. He assumed she was going to go forward. She didn't. Right? So he sacrifices this space because, again, he thought she was going to go forward, so he went back to space with his weapon. Didn't matter. Nothing happened, so, except the zone's stalled right now. So she should be trying to get this zone pop in again. Could have thrown a bomb over there, maybe painted this side a little bit, and that would have got the zone again, and then recover or whatever. Again, her teammate's right here, so she should be trying to defend this guy as best as they can, because your goal is to try to keep your team alive and keep the objective. And in this case, and in most cases, having your team alive is good. So if you can help them, great. You know, if not, a bummer. So unfortunately here, he does die, but it's a trade, so it's like, again, your team's at an advantage because they're 2 down now. You've got 3, so you could push up a little bit if you want. You could just paint this area to get more special. You can paint back here a little bit, you know, something. Especially now, like, there's a lot of down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, at least you got a bomb. Okay, so that should have been a kill. Here she could have used some of this ink and then popped him again. That would have been a free kill. He has to take a huge guess, because you could go this way and kill him, you could go this way and kill him, or you can go straight and kill him. It's a really, really bad situation for this jet. So in this case, after she popped him once there, it didn't matter if he had jet, splashdown, whatever. she would get them in the next blast. So she should have been all for that, but she was playing super defensively, which again is okay, but keeping them alive when he could have been killed is no bueno, and also allows him to disrupt the zone some more. And that you want to give them as little opportunities as possible. So she mentions, you know, tapping them twice. Just want to say you were kind of far. Your second shot was kind of far away. So instead of doing the full like 60 damage, you did like 30. So you did 60 and 30, and that's like 90. So that guy was very, very weak. But because you were just a little bit too passive, you missed out on that kill. So kind of unfortunate, but it happens. This was bad because you see the Jets there. At this point, I know I said to be aggressive before. At this point, the Jet now has space on you. The Jet has to come back to the return point, so there's no point in you chasing after them at this point now that they've got all this spacing, because Jet has really good range. So at this point, the Jet has the advantage. So you being aggressive here is not helping your cause. And the only reason you didn't die there was because the Jet was bad. Predicted you were going to go this way instead of just attacking again where you just were. Which, you know, happens. They died anyway because your teammates was sharking over there. So, works out. But, you know, keep in mind this is kind of a big deal.
The ink jets.
Or no, your teammate killed someone. The Jet's still alive. Anyway, you could just be sharking here, waiting for this. You can plant a bomb, because when that the jetpack starts glowing red, if you place a bomb on the drop point, they're gonna come flying back and basically die to the bomb. Suction bomb has a bit different timing from the regular splat bomb, but more or less the same as long as you throw it just before they start flying back or whatever, you'll kill them pretty much every time. So
continue.
There's that. That's something to know. Fortunately, funny enough, it didn't matter. Your teammate was there to camp, so all's good. Just make sure the zone's capped. It's capped. All's good. All's good now. All right, here there's a heavy. See if we can go back a little bit. Alright, so right here your teammate died. This means this is no longer safe, because while this person was alive, you have control of this area. So because they're in this zone, they can't ignore this person, so you can support them from the back line. Now that they're dead, you're forced to be back here or whatever, somewhere more safe. You could be back here if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, or back here even. Just now you can't be up there with him. So right here, let's see. See if you could even. I can't really see it, honestly. The ouch is in the way. Who knew ouch could cost lives? So this ouch perfectly blocks. The ouch perfectly blocks where the heavy's coming from. But you should know already, if your teammate dies in a general area, you should probably steer clear of that, because it's heavily enemy controlled. In this case, you've got two heavies up. It has to be a heavy, right? You don't want to engage in that because they're already charged. They're looking at you. This is gonna go bad. This is, yeah, definitely gonna go bad. Okay, rip. This could have been completely avoided. Could have just painted instead. Could have threw a bomb at a safer distance just to keep them from pushing forward a little bit. You know, there's a lot of options. Pick whatever works for you. Just don't die. This is not bueno. You could have prevented that. There's no real excuse other than the ouch blocked your vision, kind of. But still, just be aware of what's happening as best you can. It's kind of hard because there's a lot that happens really fast. So, funny enough, she didn't even die to the guy over there. She died to the one up top, like probably shooting from over here. There's a little window here, so that area isn't exactly super safe either, which is pretty wild. So so when you do want to push up, you want to push up as far as your teammate was on this particular map, because as a blaster you get good shots for them going this way. If they try to go down, that's fine too. If they go left, you still have the advantage because they're dropping down and you can just shark, and it's really difficult for them to aim at you. Trust me, I've been in that position. It's not easy, so just try to do that. Or just shark, you know, it's okay to shark, just don't die. Alright, so they're getting control over here. Got your teammate over here, and one of them's dead, so they're respawning. So you have control of this side. You don't have control of this area. You kind of do, wherever your purple ink is, but just be aware of enemies who can pop up. Here, you don't have vision of what's going on past this block, so someone could potentially be here hiding, and that would be bad. So, you know, be cognizant of that. It's fine though, because they were focusing on this, so could just be, you know, your game sense and understanding that that's what they would do, so that's fine too. Alright, here you're being a bit risky. They're able to reach this far. You see that? That's their fall off damage. You gotta respect their range. You have to. It's kind of like playing chess. You don't want to put yourself in a bad spot if you can help it. This is fine. Oof. That was not fine. Okay. It was fine up until that point. Okay, so right here we see that yellow ink is here, which means they can quickly get up here, which is potentially very bad. And a lot of Tenatech, like me with Tenatech, you'll use this as a zoning tool to like keep you out of, say, this area, which is what they did, to force you to go this way, or you'd have to back up in this direction to the bottom right. So here they threw a bomb. This is completely painted. We don't know if they're running Ninja Squid or not. I just be on the safe side, assume they are, potentially, and that these puddles are not safe, because that's enemy controlled ink. That's kind of the easiest way to look at it. Anything that isn't your color of ink is controlled by the enemy, and you gotta tread carefully when going through those, because, you know, rollers can be there, splatter shots can be there, etc, etc. So you picked this direction because obviously you could not go this way. If you went this way, you would have died to the bomb. So you were forced this way, and unfortunately, right as you went that way, there was someone waiting right here to just pop you. In this particular circumstance, your best bet would have been to go behind this cushion and just pray. It looks like they had pretty good accuracy, so it didn't matter. You're just caught out. Just make sure that area is painted before you drop down. So now that they're in your spawn here, you need to make sure all this shit is painted. Check this area. You died from someone here. Someone could have been sharking there and you could have died easily. Didn't happen, you know, but the potential was there, so just keep that in mind. That is no bueno. You could have very easily died there, but it worked out. You're at a disadvantage now. You're now at an advantage, so you can help your friend here. Okay, all's good. Now they only have one person to do stuff. Easy to paint the zone. Okay, great, excellent. Just what you want to do. They're up there. So there's like at least two up there. There's one there. So you're going to want to. You can make, at that point it's up to you what you want to do. You could have continued to pressure that guy over there, but you chose to go back to look at this beam. I hope you enjoyed looking at the Stingray. That didn't do anything for your team. Didn't do anything bad, but it didn't do anything good either, so that was kind of oof. Oh no! If I can get that. Oh, ooh, oh my god. Okay, we're pretty much there. Alright. Try to like support him soon. Okay.
It's like I'm trying so hard to beat this.
So yeah, someone died up there. One got back up there. Yeah, and the last guy's there. And the rest are coming from spawn. I still don't know what that was about. I really don't. I really don't. Okay, so... Okay, that... I don't know why you're backing up to your base. I mean, yeah, sure, you're even, but you want to be defending. Like, even sharking up here and just sitting there would be doing more. Because you're in this area, and then if they disrespect your position because they don't know where you're at, let's say they start painting from here or something, you just get a free kill. It could be a free direct if you're super good, or just a 2 indirects, so you kill them and then you walk away, you know? And then staggering them is always good. So I don't know what that was all about. That was kind of wild. Worked out though. This Tatsu over there put in some work. You just drop a bomb, walk away, bless. I mean, you're not dying, so that's still good, right? Because you're still technically there. You're near the zone. You're defending. You didn't die, so not bad. Not too shababby. All right, dodging the inkjet, not bad. Okay. Inkjet's low. Always be aware of like the inkjet and more or less where they came from. From what I saw, they came from that entry over there, so they're gonna be popping back there, more than likely behind this block. So if you want to be really mean, you could have swam like with your buddy here and started popping behind there, and he would be in for a bad time. Here you have your special. You could have threw your special down here so it could start painting the zone, because they don't have their people here doing anything to it. You see bubbles and you throw your bomb on the floor? Question mark? You want to probably throw the bomb at the bubble. That would work. So you could start popping the guy behind the bubbles, because they can't do anything while they're throwing the bubbles. They're locked into throwing the bubbles, so they have to throw the 3 bubbles before they can do anything else other than hide. So that's something to consider. And 90% of the time, if someone's using bubbles, they're going to be hiding in the bubbles or throwing more bubbles. Like, they're not going to stop and just throw 1 bubble. That just doesn't happen. So that's something to consider. Worked out anyway, because your boy Tatsu goes in, you know.
Nice.
So at this point, you know, the game's won.
Nice.
There's no more fights to happen, or whatever. But I do want to say, like, you need to be aware of what's going on. If you want to find people and you're like, dang, where is the action? I'm lost. Nothing's happening near me. Whatever. Open your map, and wherever, if they're shooting the gun, their position will be revealed on the map, so you'll be able to see where they're at, and then you can just make your decision if you want to go in that direction to fight them or not. So before we do anything else, I want to go ahead and point out some good spots when you do get control, or when you're recovering and stuff like that. Okay, so one, when you have control of the zone, you have a couple good spots you can be. As a blaster, I'm not sure how good this left side is. You can potentially, you know, hop on here and get up here and stuff like that. You could, right? you can start popping blaster shots here, and get people before they get up here. And in this case, since the heavies, they were really coming through the right side the entire game, you could have flanked up here and then just sharked and then just kind of, you know, walked around, popped anyone who tried to do anything cheeky up here. Would have been free kills for you. You could if that feels like too much, a very common blaster spot is over here, because you can watch this drop down entirely and stop them from coming from over here. And you'll force them to take this route like this. I hope you can see my mouse, but basically from the bottom, from that bottom side there, they would come up to the roof, their roof, and then they would have to come through there to fight you, which is fine, because again, you've got if they're there and up here, they're not painting anything down here, so you can get a lot of control down in the bottom, and at some point they're going to want to come down. A couple reasons. One, bubbles. You can't do much with bubbles up on top. You have to go to the zone. So if they drop down like the other guy did when you decided to throw the bomb on the floor, they're going to have to actually do something risky, which would be really bad if they just drop down from here and start throwing bubbles, because they'll just die from people around this sea of purple ink, you know. So definitely that bottom area, or from when you're actually playing the right side, the far right side, is really strong, watching the drop down. Another thing you can do is you can push up. If your team gets a crazy wipe or something, you can push up into their spawn like they were to you, and then you have pretty much free reign for the entire spawn. You can check the main drop, the middle right section, or you can check the like sneaky drop on the left side. They'll mostly be coming through the main right section most of the time. It's their fastest way back to center. So that would be your priority if I were you, and I would look at that kind of thing. It's kind of a lot, but and one other thing, rain cloud is pretty good on this zone. Just try to get it from the left or right side and have it scoot its way across the center. When you threw the rain cloud, you threw it literally directly in the middle, and then had it like rain on top of the roof and stuff like that. It's not the worst thing to do, but you could keep better control of the zone. It depends. Like if you're trying to be aggressive and be annoying, you could throw the rain cloud on this right side where they're coming from to make their life a little bit more difficult. You can, but like at the end there, you definitely wanted to throw it as soon as you had it to the zone, just because once you throw your you throw a bomb or whatever, your special actually refreshes your ink, so you'll be able to throw another bomb if you want, or just start painting with your weapon, which is what I would suggest. Just start painting with your weapon. I would have thrown a bomb on the other side, threw the special on the zone, and then start painting as best I could with the weapon to try to cap the zone again as soon as possible. And then just start sharking it for anyone who tries to come near it, basically. Or popping people on the right drop and stuff like that. Whatever stops them from being able to take the zone, you know? As long as they're not alive to take the zone, or use a special or something to take it, all's Gucci. It worked out anyway, because like I said, Tap did pretty good. But there you go. That's kind of a lot, and I hope that helps. But yeah, this game's nuts.